What is the best question you can ask yourself? Because when you ask yourself a question, your brain searches for the answer. Let's change your thinking for the better. Welcome, I'm Sheri Traxler with ViREO Life, author of Go Forward, 28 Days to Eat, Move, and Enjoy Life God's Way. When you talk about how you think and questions that you ask yourself, it really does impact how you eat, how you exercise, how you manage your stress, obviously, how you do everything in your health habits. So I do want to tackle that today. It's going to be a little deeper topic than what we often talk about. But finishing up our habit series that we've been doing this month, I want to really finish on this strong note, because what goes on up here definitely impacts what you do out there and what you do with your body. This all started for me a couple of weeks ago when I was doing some personality research. Just so you know, my labels, and everybody's, has their feelings about labels, but if you're familiar with any of these personality tests and tendencies, then you'll get a sense of where I was or am in my buckets. So on the Myers Briggs, I am an ENTJ. On the DISC profile, I am a high C and an I, with sometimes D depending on the test, but consistently a C and an I. I also, on the Enneagram, I am an Enneagram 1 with either a wing 2 or a wing 9, probably a wing 2, and only an Enneagram 1 would, cut details like that just to clarify and make sure that, she's saying it right. Let's see what others. I am a sanguine melancholy, or a melancholy sanguine, whichever way you want to phrase that. But I have both of those. There's a little bit of a tug of war that goes on sometimes for me. That's me in general. Well, all personalities have their strengths and all personalities have their weaknesses. Well, on my strengths, on the Strengths Finder, familiar with that one, my top 5, responsibility, and this is not in order. Again, only an Enneagram 1 would say that. A relator, responsibility, woo, learner, and discipline. So all of these fit together. And where I saw myself hurting myself, my weakness, is that I would either always look at what I should do, or I would say, what is their need? What is the need of the situation that I need to manage to help with? So I was always sensitive to other people's needs around me, or the needs of the situation, or I would be following the rules of what I should do. Well, that's who I am. That's still going to be part of who I am. But I was reading about questions that you can ask yourself for success and to change your thinking. And when I came across one that just grabbed me, and I said, for my personality type, that is the best question I can ask myself to flip my script, to bring the balance that I need so that I'm not out of balance and hurting myself more than helping me while helping other people. This also comes up for how you eat. I was talking with a friend of mine, and his personality type needs fun. He needs freedom. And whenever he is feeling boxed in, or things are too controlled or too disciplined, which my personality would love, his personality rebels against it and says, I'm not going to do it. So when it came to food for him, in his mind, healthy eating was all the, prepared on Sunday afternoon, and everything is pre-chopped and prepped and weighed and measured, and it's not fun, it's not spontaneous. Well, as I teach you here with Powerful Plate, a powerful plate, once you have this general principle of about half vegetable and a balance of carbs and protein and some healthy fat in there, then you're spontaneous with that. It doesn't all have to be disciplined and prepared. You're just kind of thumbnailing, all right, this is a generally balanced meal for my energy and for the nutrients that I need. That helps him, it helps anyone with that personality to be able to still play and have some fun. And of course, that also helps my personality with, it doesn't have to be so structured all the time. Just ballpark that powerful plate. With your exercise, same thing. If your personality is one that everything needs to be always the best, or maybe your personality is super competitive, and if you can't do something that you're going to win, then, I'm not going to do anything. And so you end up not exercising if you can't be the best at whatever it is. When you're looking at what is the best question for you, first you have to find out what is the core question, the core mental filter that you're asking yourself. And when I say mental filter, this is a little different if you're familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy, of the mental filter that's talked about with CBT, that it's, you're filtering things in and forgetting and ignoring other things. But that is what a question does, is when you ask yourself that question, your mind is going to search for the answer. So if you're asking yourself the wrong question, in my case, when it comes to my eating or my exercise or my stress management or my time management or whatever it is, what should I do? Or what is needed in the situation? That was my natural question, but since it was the only question I was asking myself, it was getting me in trouble. Find your core filter questions, and if it's not serving you, change it. How are you going to do that? You have to listen. So there's a few ideas I have for you that helped me find my core filter questions. One is journaling. If you are not a journaler, writing down how you're thinking, what you're feeling around what you're thinking on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, will help you get in touch with that. If you're not someone who journals, just keep a small pad of paper with you all through the day, and that will give you a chance to, every time you catch yourself asking a question, writing it down. And a clue that you're asking yourself that question is feel in your body, where are you sensing some tension? For me, my tension is in my upper stomach, right below my chest area. And when I feel that tense up, I'm thinking, okay, I must be asking myself an unhelpful question for me. If you can get away, go to the ocean, go to a creek, just go to your local library to get alone and by yourself, and think about what are the questions that when you ask yourself those questions, they're not serving you. Kind of like on the intuitive eating worksheet that I give my clients, that as they go through looking at what their different emotions are and recognizing what meets those emotions other than food, you're doing that same thing when you're cleaning out your mental filter. Is what thoughts are you having? What questions are you asking that something else would serve you better? When you begin to get a sense of when you're irritated, when you're tense, and the question that's going through your head, and you've written it down or you've taken some time to journal and come up with those ideas, now let's flip it. For me, what became the better question was, what do I need? For those of you who have no problems in that area, you're thinking, well, duh, Sheri, of course that's what you should be asking yourself, is what do you need? But my needs, I didn't listen to as much as I listened to the shoulds or other people's needs. Some people have the opposite that they're listening to. Their question is, how can I be free? How can I not be boxed in? How can I have more fun? And they're not asking themselves, what impact is this going to have down the road? So if they're thinking, well, I'm just going to eat whatever impulsively, I'm going to eat impulsively, whatever pops in my head, or I'm going to act out my emotions impulsively, however, and they don't ask themselves, how is this going to affect me a week from now? How am I going to feel 5 hours from now after I eat this? Or if I skip this workout, how am I going to feel tonight? Or how am I going to feel tomorrow? On the other hand, if you were in my personality, it might be, how am I going to feel if I push through and do my workout, even if I've only had 4 hours of sleep and I really need to take a nap instead? So for me, it was listening to my needs of the moment, not necessarily my wants, though intuitive eating does include what you want, but what do I need? That was my best question. That is my challenge for you as we finish up this habit series, is clean your mental filter out. Find what mental filter that you are currently using, what question you're asking yourself, because when you ask that question, you know what happens. Your brain begins to search for the answer. And so if I ask myself, what should I do? My brain is going to find that answer. If I ask myself, what is their need? My brain is going to find that answer. Well, for me, the best question is, those two, because they're part of my personality, those two are automatically going to happen. The conscious question I have to ask is, what do I need? Find your core filter question or questions, and then flip the script and find your question that is going to help move you forward to change your thinking for success. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe so that you can get all of the other healthy living tips and tricks, as well as some of the deeper dives like this one. And click the notification bell so that you know when I upload the new videos each week. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Until next time, find your path and fulfill your potential.